Hey guys, John here again with my wife's car, the 2004 Mustang V6. Today we'll be changing the front brake pads and rotors. The reason why we're changing both is because she wore down the pads down to the metal, so the brake pad no longer has any pad left, and it's just metal on metal grinding on the passenger side. So we're going to go ahead and replace both of those, and I'll show you how to do that. If you like the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and the button is down below. And yeah, first off, let's make sure that you have your rear wheels chocked. I don't know if you can see them or not, but I have those on both sides of the rear wheels because we're doing the front. And I don't have any jack stands, unfortunately, but so if you are doing this, make sure that you have jack stands, as a safety precaution, and your wheels chocked as an additional safety precaution. Now I'm going to go ahead and get started and jack the car up. I've already broken the lug nuts loose on this driver's side front already, so just watch, pay attention, and yeah, we'll get started. Hydraulic jack. Okay, I got the wheel up high enough off the ground. Go ahead and take these lug nuts the rest of the way off. Okay, now that we have the wheel off, since we're changing the rotor, there's two bolts. I don't know if you can see them, but there's one here and one further down here. Those take off the whole caliper and bracket as one if you want to do it that way. Now there's an easy trick if you're just changing the brake pads and not the rotors as well, is right down here you can see there's this bolt. It's the caliper bolt. You take off this one caliper, get this caliper a little loosened, and the whole thing will swing up. It'll have a swinging motion. So it'll swing up, and it'll give you access to pop the calipers out of the brake pads out of the bracket. Brake pads out of the bracket, and then you'll be able to push the piston in a lot easier. Put the new brake pads in the bracket, swing it back down, and you're good to go. Just pump the brakes a few times before you turn the car on until it gets tight. Alright, let's get to this. Hey guys, sorry I disappeared there for a second. I'm back now. I just wanted to show you something real quick. Now I did take out this lower bolt for the caliper, not the bracket, and I wanted to show you something. If you take a screwdriver, flathead typically, and pry the caliper forward a little bit, you can get it loosen up. Take the screwdriver, put down here and pry up. See how the caliper came up? Keep prying. Just a little bit, doesn't take much, and you can, that's what I was talking about. See how it swings up? Now what I do is I'll take the brake pad, I'll stick it in here, because I don't have one of those brake piston caliper tools to collapse the pistons back in, to push the pistons back in, so I use a C-clamp. So with that the way it is, I'll take the a C-clamp, like so. And I'll pinch it like this. You basically take it and pinch it like this with the brake pad on here, because the brake pad will push it in evenly. So with the brake pad here, C-clamp on the end of the, well, I'll get it set up and I'll show you. Alright, I'm back. That's what I'm talking about. See how it's, you got the C-clamp, then you got the brake pad, and it's clamping on the back side of the brake caliper, and you just twist it in. Man, I wish I had a fucking tripod. Oh, this is so hard to do without a tripod. So I'll just go ahead and twist this in. Pretty sure that should be it. Yep, those are pushed back in. Awesome. So they're pushed back in now. You can see that they're really smushed in there. That's how you want them. You want them pretty much. You'll be able to tell. I mean, they won't go any further. Sometimes if they're seized up, you can definitely tell that they're seized up, and it's really hard to push them in. At that point, you definitely need to get a new brake caliper or a rebuild kit, if that's the case, and rebuild it yourself or have someone else rebuild it. Alright, just to make my life a little easier, I'm going to push that out like so. See, it just slides right in there. And you can push it right out now that you have it all collapsed and pushed in. And just, you know, if your brake lines are in good condition, you can let it hang. I mean, this brake caliper is aluminum, so it's very light, not heavy like those iron ones. And I'll get back to trying breaking these damn nuts, bolts loose here. As you can see, I have the thing on, and get this bracket off so I can pull the rotor off. And I'll be back when I have those off. Alright, I got one. Whew, man, that was hard. Hopefully this thing is where I'm pointing it. I don't know if you can tell, but alright, as you can see, I got it off. Now with that off, you'll be able to pull the rotor right off. Now sometimes it might be rusted, so you might want to hit it with a hammer, especially if you're just replacing it, then don't worry about it. Alright. One rotor down. On to the next. I'm going to go ahead and open this. There's the new rotor. Now, when these things are shipped, they come with like this grease on the rotor. It's kind of like this oily residue. They do it to prevent rust. Now, what you definitely want to do is get yourself some brake parts cleaner, any kind. I bought this from Walmart. It was like $3. And you're gonna spray down the rotor real good, and to get that off there, because if you don't, then it'll contaminate the brake pads and they'll start smoking. I mean, it will burn off eventually, but you don't want to contaminate brake pads that you just put on. Alright, there's the rotor. Go ahead and just spray it off. That's one side. Turn it over, and you can see all that shipping oil they put on it. Go ahead, get it all off. And that's it. Now take your freshly cleaned rotor, take it, put it on, just like so. It'll just slide right over. You'll take your bracket and bolt it back on. Now that is on, as you see, I got the bracket back on. You want to come over here, open up your brake pads. Now, this is the hardware. A lot of people tend to skip this step. This replaces these old, dirty, rusted ones that, you know, are in the, bracket. That's what holds the brake pads, so they're not just sitting in there on the bracket themselves. They're sitting on those little retaining clips, or whatever you would want to call them. Oh, my camera skills are horrible. You got 3 for each side. That goes in the top part of the caliper, which I'll show in a second, and these go exactly where I just took them out from. Put them in. Now you take your brake pads, okay, brake pads, and you just pop them right in. Bam, brake pad. And you take your other brake pad, go right in on the other side. Okay, now that you have that in, you can go back, take that caliper that you slid out earlier, line it up. Come on, get in there. And it slides right in. You just fold it down. Of course, sometimes you have to give it a little motivation. We are back, hold on. Alright, a little extra motivation, but it's all back together. I didn't have the pistons pushed down all the way. Just had a little bit more to go, but I have the caliper bolt back in. I'm going to go ahead and tighten that down, and then the wheel can go back on. Now remember, this is the exact same side, exact same process as the passenger side. So all you got to do is follow this process or that side, and you're good. Alright, putting the wheel on now. Make sure when you're putting your wheel back on, especially if you have a 5-lug, make sure to go in a star pattern. So I went here, here, so my next spot is over here. Alright, go ahead and tighten it down completely, which is what I'm about to do, and I'll come back when I'm finished with the other side. So like I said, when you're tightening these down, go in a star pattern, just to torque it down right. So you're going to start with wherever you started at. I started here, then I went here, 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 and here, making that star. So that's how you want to do it. Hopefully this video was some good information for you, and helped you learn how to change the front brakes and rotors on your, well, I guess this body style Mustang. My wife's, like I said, is a 2000. So yeah. Alright, over here on the passenger side, like I was saying, we heard scrubbing of metal and she wore it down. Now this, I don't know if you, oh, there you go, it's focused. This is, well, this one barely has any pad left on it. This one has no pad. As you can see, it started rubbing down into the metal. So either this caliper's messed up because it is either sticking, but we'll see here in a minute. I'm gonna get the caliper, the bracket off, and then take the rotor off so you can see what the rotor looks like on the backside, because that's where it was grinding metal on metal. So I'll get that off and I'll show you real quick. Okay, rotor's off, and as you can see this ring going all the way around. That's where the brake pad, right here, is rubbing on it as you press the brake. So this rotor's toast. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna get this all put back together and I'll be right back. Alright guys, all done. Got the passenger side on. Now there is one last step before you start driving on the road, and that is to make sure to pump the brakes. So you just want to get inside, pump your brakes until they feel stiff. Okay? Every time you would change your brakes, even if you're just doing brake pads, you just want to pump it until it's stiff. And you'll turn the car on and do the same thing, and then you're good to go. I hope this video again has helped you learn how to change your brakes and rotors on this body style V6 Mustang. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys took the time to watch this, and I hope that it helped you out.